To kind of finish up here about kind of what we want to see change, I think the funding the funding for male victims needs to be increased dramatically.
Yeah, it needs to be increased hugely. It needs to be set on a realistic footing.
Yeah.
In fact, what we would be looking for is funding on a par with those for women.
Yeah.
It should be on a par, given that the international evidence is so strong.
It's so strong to suggest that
it's equal, that it's on a par across all different types. And then, of course, there should be shelters for male victims as well. There should be shelters on a par with those for women set up, because we don't even know the extent of how many men have been driven to distraction by virtue of the fact that there's no shelter for them to go to.
Yeah.
We don't know how many men have been made homeless, for instance, as a result of this, and been forced out of the street as a result of this. The media, although I'm not sure whether I should say at this point in time that I have no faith whatsoever in the media. Nevertheless, the media needs to start focusing on realistically on these issues and start educating the public as to what's going on here. Start setting up a public forum for debates between those who favour the Istanbul Convention and those who are against it.
Yeah.
And having a proper debate about domestic violence, because it's never been held at all in this country. That's what needs, because we need to educate the media, and we need to educate the politicians and the policy makers and those in the state agencies who are responsible for dispensing funds and services.
Yeah, I think also I think it's fair to say that Men's Aid does great work with the very little funding that they have.
Extraordinary.
Imagine if they actually got proper funding.
They do. They have done great work in the last couple of years, since they appointed a new CEO there last year, Katrina Bentley, who, to be fair, has done a lot of work to get to draw public attention to this fact, and she's managed to get a number of articles in newspapers to highlight the extent of male victimization. So they would certainly, and they need to have, for a very start, they need to have centres in the major cities.
Yeah.
A couple in Dublin, Cork, Limerick, Galway, Waterford.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So they need to have realistic support services in the major towns, the major cities, anyway, for a start.
Yeah.
That's just a start.
Yeah.
And there needs to be, as I said, proper debate about the nature and the dynamics of the domestic violence.
Yeah, like you mentioned about educating the media, educating politicians. I think we also kind of need to educate society a bit, and I think awareness is such a big part of that. Yeah. But yet awareness of kind of male victims of domestic violence, we very rarely see it publicly. So what would be the best way to improve awareness?
I guess it has to come through the main sources by which people get their information, through the mainstream media. That has to be a major part of it. They have to engage with the public. They have to stage proper debates around this issue. Bring in experts from both sides. Bring in those who support the official narrative, and bring in experts who disagree with the official narrative and who would challenge the official narrative, and let the public see the facts. Let both sides present the evidence that's there on their side for their side of the story, and let the public decide where the bulk or the balance lies. That's what's needed.
So